Hi everybody, it's Jamie. It's been a minute since I've shown my face on YouTube. Usually I'm just sharing my art, doing the time lapses, showing the Procreate and stuff. I've shown my face in the past for like Accutane discussions and other sorts of things. It just made sense where I did like a quick vloggy thing. I would love to get back into doing vlogging every so often, just because it's nice to check in and you can associate my art with a face. I do indeed have a face. I occasionally get comments on my art that's just like, cool art, bro. Nice work, bro. And I'm like, interesting, because sometimes I make really, really cute art that's like incredibly feminine. And sometimes I make art that is really grotesque. And I think the grotesque art comes off like, oh yeah, you must be a dude if you make that kind of artwork, which is interesting. The assumptions we make about the gender of people who create certain types of art. I think about like the Obanoth having to say like, oh yeah, I'm a woman, by the way, because people just assumed that the Obanoth was a man. Also, sorry about the occasional shaking on the video. I didn't even think to bring a tripod. This was just very impromptu in terms of, I was on my way out and about. I went to the Starbucks and I thought, oh, I'm just gonna do a quick little video. So I'm holding it with my hands. I'm holding the phone with my hands. This feels very akin to like Of Herbs and Altars vlogs, because I keep doing weird voices every time I get slightly uncomfortable, but that's where we're at. Hello. So I am a few hours out from my first session of therapy that's EMDR focused. If you don't know about EMDR, I cannot recall the abbreviation off the top of my head, but I will add it to the description. But it is eye movement desensitization. Essentially, like, the premise is that you tap or move your eyes with like the guidance of a therapist, while recalling like traumatic experiences in great detail in order to simulate being there. It's like akin to exposure therapy. And so I have had many years of talk therapy and I have found it useful, but I've kind of hit like a plateau with the usefulness of talk therapy. And so I was looking into EMDR because I have had some traumatic experiences that have led to like PTSD-like symptoms. And so I wanted to explore EMDR to see if that would get me through some of those obstacles that I keep hitting a wall in terms of my progress with like processing traumatic experiences. So we're going to see how that goes today. This is just my intake session, so I imagine like with the therapist it's just going to be like a getting to know you kind of session, but we'll see. I wanted to let you guys know how I was doing, and do a check-in, say hello. For the people who haven't met me before, hi, my name's Jamie. I am a 30-year-old college professor, English professor, and I am an artist, and I have a doctorate in 19th century American literature. I have a rare autoimmune disease called dermatomyositis. I have juvenile onset dermatomyositis. I vlogged my, I slightly vlogged, a little bit vlogged my experience of being on Accutane, which is why I still have just like chapped lips 5-ever, but I really had a positive experience with Accutane. One of my most popular videos is a video talking about my experience of being on Cymbalta for anxiety and depression, and I can also talk more about that soon. So yeah, I wanted to share some mental healthy things, and yeah, other things to check in about. I just got out of a pretty gnarly breakup where I moved, so things have been pretty hectic, so I haven't been streaming anywhere, and so like I haven't been streaming on Twitch. I used to game on Twitch and I really loved that, and I miss the community over there. So it may be nice for the folks who haven't seen me on Twitch to see me here. Hello, I miss you. I don't know if I'll go back to Twitch. I may. It just depends. I really like the freedom of not streaming, in the sense that, like, streaming on Twitch, you are somewhat obligated to a schedule in order to feel like you're doing things correctly. And you want to let people know when you're going to be there, but also, like, I want to foster a community in my real life where I am being spontaneous and I have a freer schedule after work, that I'm not, you know, leaving work and going straight to my computer and sitting for a few hours, you know? And being away from Twitch has, like, made me appreciate gaming more as a relaxing activity. Like, I can be more present when I'm gaming versus socializing and gaming and always having eyes on chat. What I loved about streaming on Twitch was getting to play games and connect with people, because it reminded me of, like, couch co-op, where you're, like, hanging out with your friends and sharing a video game that you love, but at the same time, like, monitoring chat is just its own difficulty. Always having to look away from the game, whereas, like, in PS4 chat or hanging out with couch co-op, you don't have to look at people the whole time, and you don't have to read multiple things of text, and it's easier to follow along with the story when you're not, you know, trying to stream at the same time. All that to say, I think taking a break from Twitch has been good for my mental health, but I do miss a lot of aspects of it. I've also been toying around with the idea of doing streams here on YouTube of my art. You know, I really like art streams. I think they're a lot of fun, and I think people would enjoy seeing the process of making some art. So it's an idea, but I just wanted to let everybody know that I'm okay. I'm hanging in there. I will update later after I get out of my first session of EMDR, in case there's some folks who are interested in doing things like EMDR. I'll share anything of note that I learned, but thank you for watching this segment, and I'll see you in a little bit. Hi everybody, it's about a couple hours after I finished up my first session talking about EMDR. I'm in a parking lot about to go get some food. I went, after therapy, went driving just to go check out some furniture for the new apartment. I bought an ottoman, which I'm very excited about, so that'll be delivered sometime next week. And yeah, about to go grab some food, but just processing a little bit. I feel good about my new therapist and proceeding forward. She felt pretty confident in diagnosing me with generalized anxiety disorder, just based on some of the criteria that we outlined, which is interesting to me. I don't know how I feel about that diagnosis yet, but, you know, I don't have to like it. And I just hope that whatever we proceed forward with helps. So we talked about EMDR being the first step in a treatment plan, and then if that doesn't vibe with me, if I'm not enjoying the process, or at least I'm not benefiting from the process, then we can try cognitive behavioral therapy. But if you're thinking about EMDR, like, I obviously can't tell you one way or the other whether you should try it for yourself. But as with, I think, every therapist, you have to find a good fit. And if you feel like you can trust that therapist, like, that seems like a good, you know, first thing to check with. And then, like, just from my experience, we talked about, like, the 8 phases of EMDR, and just to talk about a few of the things to go through. We're gonna do assessment next week, and then talk through some, like, coping mechanisms, making sure that I can build up some resilience before starting to talk through some negative cognitive beliefs that I hold, and sort of tracking what memories do I associate with those beliefs, negative cognitions, and then, like, doing tapping EMDR strategies through those memories, tapping, buzzers, following lights, whatever I prefer. She also said we could try some things. So yeah, I'm feeling pretty good about it. I am feeling pretty raw too. Like the emotions are weird. I've always thought about therapy as trying to look underneath the bed and get all the dust bunnies rustled up, and your emotions are the dust that is up in the air now. It's no longer clumped, which is like kind of a gross way of thinking about it, but it does feel like house cleaning in some ways. It has to get worse before it gets better. You have to get all of the clutter in one spot so then you can sort it, if that makes sense. Thinking about like any major cleanup you've ever done, it always looks way worse before it gets better. So yeah, just feeling a little wonky. But thank you for being on this experience, this exploration. I feel like journey is overused, so thank you for being on this adventure with me today. And I'll see you soon. Have a good one, everybody.